haven't got time for questions, unfortunately, we're going to have to whiz through the agenda today. Ken and Linda have got their stand out in the foyer later. I'm told if you want to hear more of Ken's voice, you can go on to Penny Green's latest podcast, The Wandering Ecologist, which is stuff full of stuff. And of course, if you want it in the flesh, then take part in the silent auction. Quickly, I've heard from the break that some people are a little bit confused by silent auction. So if you put your bid in, but you're not a successful bid, you haven't committed funds to it. It's the winning bid that has committed the funds, if that makes sense for folks. So, yeah, I'm keen that we fit in everybody before lunch. So, plenty of chance to speak to Ken and Linda later. And if I could encourage our good friends from the university to come on down. So, your next speakers, we're going to have a trio, doing some quick speakers. We've got Dr. Rachel. Dr. Rachel Wright, didn't want to get it wrong there. So, who is principal lecturer in the School of Applied Sciences, and we've got Imogen and we've got Flynn with her. We need to switch over the slides and fast because Rachel's so good at this, she'll probably be able to do that for me. Thank you. Rachel, long friend of the Society, been working at the university for a long time. About 34 papers, I think, Rachel, that you...
I'm probably about to say 34 years, it's like not quite.
No. Lots of pages about lots of things. You've written a lot about parakeets. I love your paper, which is entitled Using Drones and Sirens to Elicit Avoidance Behaviour in White Rhinoceros.
A bit different, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the third one, no.
So, 3 talks in 15 minutes. Over to you, Rachel.
Okay, so hi everyone. It's fantastic to see so many people here today, and I can actually see a number of our students as well, which is really particularly lovely. So yeah, I'm Dr. Rachel White, and yeah, Principal Lecturer in Ecology and Conservation here at the University of Brighton, albeit based just a little bit down the road at Walscombe campus within the School of Applied Sciences. So I've been at Brighton now for over 10 years, and I am the course leader for both the BSc and the Integrated Master's degrees in Ecology and Conservation. So my particular kind of teaching and research passions all relate to increasing a better understanding and fostering positive human-nature interactions and coexistence, particularly within urban systems, related to species reintroductions, and definitely birds and people is kind of my tagline, so to speak. Hence being a member of the SOS for quite a few years now, and attending a number of its conferences, but it's just super exciting to actually have the conference this year at the University of Brighton. So I'm very shortly going to hand over to 2 of our current fantastic third-year ecology and conservation students, Imogen and Flynn, who are going to give you just a little taste, a bit of a tease as to the types of bird-related research projects our students get up to. So I'm really super proud of them as well, because they've still got a few weeks before they submit their research reports. So this is kind of like work in progress. So there's kind of their first time talking in this kind of environment, but yeah, really proud of them. The final thing I do want to say before I do hand over is I want to use this platform to quickly encourage as many of you as possible to get in touch with myself or both Imogen and Flynn to perhaps talk with us kind of during the breaks as well, or you can contact us via email to discuss possible opportunities to collaborate and to work together. I really am very positive to try and foster stronger connections and collaboration between the university and also the University of Sussex and Sussex Birders, Sussex Ornithological Society. So come chat with us about potential project ideas, desk-based or fieldwork, potential volunteering opportunities. We have so many students that are really passionate about kind of helping out local monitoring efforts, but also potentially kind of doing guest talks or masterclasses or internships, you name it. Really happy to chat to you about any kind of potential opportunities to work together moving forwards. So, without further ado, I am going to pass over to Imogen. Thank you very much. Hi everyone. So like Rachel was saying, we're not particularly used to this scale of public speaking, so please be nice to us. You all look very knowledgeable and therefore intimidating. But I am a third-year ecology conservation student. And also, alongside that, I'm a trainee bird reader at the Cookme Ring Group. So, in light of that, for my undergraduate project, I decided to utilise the extensive Cookme Ring Group dataset to look into
passerine phenology. And so I'm looking into specifically juvenile dispersal. So over the course of 45 years...
Could you hold the mic
a little bit closer, is that better? Perfect. All right. So I'm looking at juvenile dispersal and seeing if over the last 45 years, from 1980 to 2025, if there's been any kind of shift in the data which we are starting to catch on juveniles every year. I'm focusing on 8 species, and I'm using the 10th percentile date by which we record, so 10% of our juveniles every single year, and essentially seeing if there has been a shift in that date year on year over time. And so what I have found is that there is directly related correlated shifts for some species and not for others, which is quite interesting because, for example, with chimpanzees and reborners, I found that there is a direct correlation with temperature causing there to be a shift forwards in dispersal, whereas black caps have had the opposite effect. So warmer temperatures have led to them dispersing later. However, when I've looked into different variables such as sunlight hours or frost or rain, I found that whilst some species are very much having a cause and effect relationship with temperature alone, other species like black caps have had this response due to overarching climatic themes. So, and also I found that there are many other species that have had no response whatsoever. So it's been a really, really interesting project because I've mostly been finding that there is no singular overarching response or trend that is sort of a one-size-fits-all for one of these species that I've looked into. It's been more of a species-specific response. So from a conservation perspective, this is really valuable insight, and we do need to understand how we have these species-specific responses because this will obviously have impact on how well these species are able to adapt to ongoing change. So yeah, obviously, as Rich said, this is a work in progress, and I'm still dealing with my results and trying to ascertain what might be causing different kinds of responses from different species based on their ecology and all that. But if anyone would like to chat, I'm really happy to speak with any sort of ringers or even just birders. If you guys have noticed that there's been changes over time in your local bird population, if you've noticed that they've been coming out earlier, coming out later, I'd like to have a talk about it. You see, all of my details are up here, so feel free to come have a chat. Or get in touch any other way. But yeah, that's all I'm doing at the moment. I'll pass you over to Flynn to talk about this project.
Can everyone hear? Yeah. So I'm Flynn Smith. I'm a third-year ecology and conservation student at Brighton University, as Rachel said. A bit about me. Degree student, as it says. I'm currently employed at the Wildlife Trust up in Arundel. I mainly do grounds. We do a bit of the collecting birds, but mainly I'm sort of grounds assistant there.
Can you hold the mic up on that?
So yeah, I'll keep going about that. Sort of my goals and aspirations. I'd really like to pursue a career within a conservation organisation, specifically involving birds, but I would really like to do stuff with Sussex flora. So I love orchids, one of my favourite flowers. I'm sort of looking to develop my photography hobby into a career as well. I love photography, and I do have 4 of my photos in the 2024 bird report. But yeah, another one is I'd love to motivate the next generation through sort of other education programmes. My mum does a lot with sort of schools around Brighton. I'd like to sort of follow that as well. And yeah, that would be sort of something I'd love to do in the future. But on to my project, I don't think I need to explain to you what Corn Bunting looks like, but up in the top there is 2 Corn Buntings there. So most of my data has come from the SDFBI, so South Downs Farm and Bird Initiative. There's a 10-year sort of data set there. That's been really helpful. Bruce has provided a lot of information for me from that. And my sort of rationale for picking the project as well was I've always had a bit of a negative perspective on UK farmland, like 70% of the UK is farmland, and it seems that there's been such a massive decline in farmland birds. As Corn Bunting, for example, 90% nearly since the 70s. So I really wanted to sort of focus my final year project. I did a practice project last year about it to sort of introduce myself to it properly, but that's what I really wanted to do. As you can see here, sort of the ideal sites. Most of the sites have actually looked like this. Front row is just sort of bland. I don't know if anyone still uses Windows Vista, but that background is just a complete green. It's just nothing really beneficial to anything, let alone Corn Buntings. That's up near Rotten. That's probably been my most successful site, especially sort of towards the end of February, where the males were sort of singing. And these sites have got, the main thing that they have is sort of field stubble, so brassicas has been the main thing. So as I've sort of gone through the data set from the SDFBI, looking at the sort of aerial photos and then visiting my sites from around Brighton, I've seen that all the 75% of those sites that have Corn Buntings present have either brassicas or weed stubble. And that's sort of been, that really sort of emphasises the need for food availability, especially in winter. That's something I forgot to mention. My in-person data is coming from December to sort of February, really covering that sort of winter distribution. And having looked at those distribution sites from the SDFBI as well, you can see a slight distribution change. So there's a site up near Lancing where in the winter the numbers have quadrupled nearly. And I think that's sort of where the food availability in their usual breeding grounds, where they haven't had the sort of agri-environment schemes where they planted the sort of winter coverage. They don't migrate, as you probably well know, but they do change sites to sort of get more food availability. Because I just want to sort of highlight at the end of my dissertation project the importance of these water resources for buntings. Thanks for listening.
Brilliant, thank you very much, Imogen and Rachel. Once again, there's a stand that you're all on.
We're here all day, yeah.
Here all day, which is fabulous, thank you. So if you've got any questions, I know it'd be lovely to be able to take questions, but we won't get through to lunchtime if I don't, sorry. So loads of chance to check in on all of those projects that are going on. It's fantastic to think that this work is going on right on our doorstep in Sussex, which is fabulous. Thank you very much.